You're now watching the Mike Missanelli podcast on the BetRivers Network.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a Mike Missanelli podcast on a Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. It is podcast number 136. It is brought to you by BetRivers. We hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving, hanging out with their family and stuffing yourself. And now here comes the Friday leftover day. You know, I just saw this recipe where I'm going to make my own Hot Pocket out of turkey. Yeah, Hot Pocket. All you got to do is get some pizza dough. You lay it out there. You layer it with the Wawa gobbler, but then you roll it and you bake it. I'm going to try it. It's a homemade Hot Pocket. I'm running out of ideas for leftovers, the turkey soup, the turkey salad, the turkey sandwiches, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do something different, but I hope you enjoy your Black Friday where you have nothing to do but shop online or maybe risk yourself going to the store, which I never do. Okay. Coming up on the show, an analysis of the Eagles' next game against the Buffalo Bills. We're also going to touch on the 76ers, who somehow have shot themselves out of this play-in tournament. And then we'll have our picks of the week, some interesting picks this week. And I want you to pay attention because I'm going to give you a pick. You might not hear it until after the game is played. So I'll give it to you now. Nebraska is at home as a 3-point favorite against Iowa, which last week clinched their spot in the Pac-10 championship game. So
over under 25.5, by the way.
Okay, so I'm going to take Nebraska to win the game because Iowa doesn't need the game. Well, whatever. I'm going to put it out here because you're probably going to go, okay, he knew what the result was. No, I'm doing it right now because we're doing this podcast at 11. What time is it? 11.
It's 11:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Black Friday, 2023.
Yeah, that's so. I'm going to give you that one, and we'll handle some stuff later. All right, so let's start. You know, I'm watching football yesterday, as we all are. 3 games. And I'm paying a particular attention to the Detroit Lions, which was the first game. And I'm listening to all this hype about, the Lions. Well, look what they've built. Look, Dan Campbell's a wonderful coach. Look at this Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah. And it occurred to me, and I tweeted it out at the time because I couldn't take it anymore. This is the difference between the Eagles and everybody else. We don't appreciate the Eagles' consistency. We always freak out that they don't win games more handily. But they also don't do what the Detroit Lions did yesterday, which is to lay an egg at home when you're supposed to be a good team, playing against an inferior team, and get housed. All right? You're not going to see the Eagles. People say, well, they lost to the Jets. Okay. Once it happened. They didn't get housed in that game. Once it happened, the consistency that the Eagles display from week to week is underappreciated when you look at the rest of the league. Now, there are some teams that are coming up. San Francisco's back on a rally. The Cowboys look good against inferior teams. They also don't lose against inferior teams. They can't beat good teams. But from week to week, people freak. Oh, my God, the Eagles are making this too close. But they're consistent winners, and they do what it takes to win. And you saw that fraud Lions team yesterday on Thanksgiving at home, give it up to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. All right, that's my opening statement for today's podcast. So let's get into their next game because I don't think the Eagles are in a really good spot in this game. I got to be honest with you. They've managed to squeak by in a lot of games. You know there's a loss coming down the pike, and this is a situation where they could lose 2 in a row. And that wouldn't, for me, not deplete their strength. It's just the way the league goes from week to week. So it's the Eagles and the Bills, Sunday at 4:25 p.m. All right, let's look at this matchup because the Bills are coming off a pretty good game. And Josh Allen is coming off a pretty good game. Last week, he threw for 3 touchdowns. His rating was 108.2. It was the Jets, I get it, but they have a good defense. And he got him for 275 yards. Conversely, the Eagles held Mr. Wonderful, Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback who has ever built, by the way, according to most people. 177 last week, but this is the telling stat. 4.1 yards per attempt. He was scared to death to throw the ball down the field. Now, his rating was 71.6, and there were a ton of drops. I get it. But the Eagles put some pressure on Mahomes almost every play. Their defense right now, the Bills I'm talking about, are pretty good. Like the team last week was supposed to be pretty good. It gives up 15 points a game, the Chiefs. Bills only give up 17.3 points a game. All right, another defensive struggle for the Eagles against the Bills defense. They're fourth in the league. They have 19 takeaways. That's tied for second. They're an active defense. But let's look at the offense. Josh Allen's all over the place, and he's going to give it up. He is going to give it up in this game one time, at least. So whether the Eagles can manage the turnover battle, they could win the game. All right, let's look at their offense. They're fifth in the league, 27.3 points per game, the Eagles. On third down conversions, they're first in the league. So they've managed to make a lot of clutch plays on third down, and they're going to probably have to do this this time. Now, the Bills last week had 6 sacks. They're playing a quarterback who stinks, doesn't know what to do, and then the backup came in. They had 8 quarterback hits last week, but they do sack the quarterback. They have 39 sacks on the year. That's second in the league. They're first in quarterback hits. They're going to come at Jalen Hurts. And so it's up to Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni to develop a game plan where they get the ball out of their hands quickly and move the ball down the field. The Eagles are going to have to deal with some really good defensive linemen, but their offensive line has been able to hold on to that. So it's a pretty even game, and the line would indicate that. Let's look at the Eagles last week, and here's what I predict. Every time A.J. Brown doesn't get the ball, he's getting the ball. All right? You know that this week he's been bitching and moaning to the offensive coaching staff. For him to get one catch last week is criminal. You got to target A.J. Brown. The quick passes on the slant, they don't target, which for me is a winning play all the time, a quick shot to him on a slant. They've gotten away from that. Fortunately, Devontae Smith has picked up when A.J. Brown has been down, and Devontae's had a couple 99-yard games right now. So Buffalo, against their pass defense is it's mediocre. It's 15th in the league. 87.9 rate to wide receivers, 6.9 yards per attempt to wide receivers. That's tied for 14th. Very mediocre, right in the middle of the league. And their yards per carry, Buffalo on offense is 25th in the league. And so DeAndre Swift, get the ball to him. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Get the ball in DeAndre Swift's hands. All right. Let's look at the receiving core of the Buffalo Bills, because this is going to be troubling maybe against the Eagles secondary. First of all, James Cook is running pretty well, but he's also catching the ball out of the backfield. Stephon Diggs, obviously. But Khalil Shakir has been a key for them. Last week hit some big plays. 3 catches, about 115 yards last week. You got to watch him. And Dalton Kincaid is a tight end who is very prominent. And he's had 5 straight games of 45 yards in the catches. Of course, the Eagles give it up to tight ends. Their rating against tight ends is last in the league, if you can believe it. 122.9, their rate in covering tight ends. So there you go with the game synopsis on the give and take and what Buffalo is going to bring, what the Eagles have to counter, and vice versa. The same game plan. You have to get the ball out of your hands quick. They're going to come. They're going to bring the heat on you. They want to sack the quarterback, but you can also run against this team. And on defense, you got to watch the tight end and the big plays. So there it is. Again, this is a spot that I don't really like the Eagles in. Last week, they had to win that game in weird fashion. I don't know how they won the game, but they did win the game. And now here comes Buffalo with a head of steam. And if there ever is a game where they're due to lose at home, it would be this one. So let's bring in producer Darren. Darren, how do you see this game?
The Bills are a schizophrenic team, Mike, as you've seen. I mean, pretty much the last 2 years, they are either they're on hitting on all cylinders, or they just struggle for 4 quarters. Defensively, they're tough, man. I do think, and you keep saying, you've said it like 3 or 4 times now, that Hurts and the Eagles offense needs to get the ball out quick. The problem with that is, for me, is the only plays I've seen over the past month where they make that attempt against either a blitz or against, a strong front seven is those bubble screens. When was the last time we saw consistent slants out of this offense or consistent China out of this offense? You just don't see it. And I'd like to see that more. Give me the back. Give me Smith in the flat. Run a little China for me. Do that. Give me Smith and AJ on quick slants all day. They're quick enough. Their bursts off the line are certainly catered to that. But all I ever see against a blitz or a tough front seven on this with this offense is bubble screens. Enough with the goddamn bubble screen.
Well, they use the bubble screens also to the wide receivers, which I like last week when they ran it to Swift, they got big yardage out of that. The wide receiver bubble screen has been a disastrous play for them. So
they don't run it well. You're right.
No, so you got to run that screen that you ran at DeAndre Swift, and you do. You have to get him in wheel routes. You have to utilize him more in the passing game, I think. I don't like the game. What's the line right now? 3?
It's 3. It went up to 3.5. It's back to 3. It's going to stay at 3. I doubt at game time it's going to be anything different. They're not going to win every game. Are they really going to go 15-2? I mean, or 14-1.
But the problem with losing this game is that like that game at Dallas is probably a loss too. So a 2-game losing streak at this stage of the year is not good. Now,
no,
I think
it's not.
Bounce back from that because the Seattle Seahawks are paper tigers.
Yeah, here's the other thing too, Mike, with this team. Like if they win the next 2, it's done. It's locked in. Because the last 4 games of the season are gimmies. It's against garbage teams. The Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Giants twice. There is no excuse to lose any of those games if you need them. They are gimme wins. So, look, maybe they win on Sunday. I just think with the bye week leading into the Chiefs game, it was a very emotional game for a lot of guys. You saw that on the sideline. You saw that after the game. They could talk all they want about it. It was just another game. Bullshit. That game meant a lot to those guys.
There you go. You have now kept the Joe DiMaggio streak going with your curse words. Yeah. There you go. Joe DiMaggio streak. You're now at 41 straight by cursing.
No, it's at least 43.
All right, 43.
And then next week you've got the game that there's no way by halftime of Sunday they aren't already thinking about San Francisco the following week. So this is a bad spot for them. If they win this game, I'll be really impressed. I'm picking them to lose, by 3 or 4 games. They don't get killed. There's just too much talent on the team. If they win, it wouldn't surprise me either. But if I got to pick a loss on this schedule right now, it's Sunday.
All right. I agree. And it's not going to deter me from my opinion that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, although now I'm scared about the 49ers. They're re-scaring me. They look dynamic in that game.
Why? Because they're beating up on Pensacola High School every week.
Listen, I understand it, but they're rolling. Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Ayuk are tremendous weapons. So, and their defense is really good. So they're scaring me a little bit. I still have the Eagles above them as an edge right now. All right, so let's move on to your Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I put down this play-in tournament as kind of meaningless. So it may sound hypocritical of me to say that the Sixers not being in it is not a big deal. It's a big deal only in that the competition in their bracket was such that they should have advanced. Okay, they lost a big game to Indiana. Okay, Indiana's coming on. They score a lot of points, but they lost 2 games of the 4 in this tournament, and this is supposed to be everybody is lauding the Sixers. Oh, look how much better they look. Look at Nick Nurse, blah blah. Look at all these players they have, and for them not to advance in this play-in tournament is not good. Okay, now, I'm not going to say it's going to destroy the season, but it is not good. So let's look at a couple things that piqued my. I was reading the Philadelphia Inquirer today, and our good buddy Keith Pompey, and he's talking about teams being able to figure out the Sixers, and they figure them out by being very physical with them and wearing them down, making Tyrese Maxey less effective and noticeably tired at the end of the games, along with Embiid. Now, Embiid didn't play the other night, but he writes this paragraph. This year, opposing teams have presented a major problem for the Sixers, with Embiid not in his best shape. When the reigning MVP approves his conditioning, maybe he'll be able to sustain the physicality longer. And I go, what the F? What? Are you kidding me? He's not in good shape. The season has begun. The training camp is over. He's not in his best shape again. We have to put up with this. Why isn't he in his best shape? It's ridiculous that we sit back here and we allow for while he's not in his best shape. Why not? There's no excuse for him not being in his best shape. He's an MVP, for crying out loud. How do we have to go through the season waiting for him to get in his best shape? It's absolutely ridiculous. And Keith, if you're going to write a line like that, that's fine. There's got to be a columnist that writes a column on why the frick he's not in his best shape. It's embarrassing.
The story. I mean, it's every year. It's like the old expression, broken record. Let me ask you this: is the loss of Kelly Oubre that big for this team? Is it?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, or it should.
It
should be, but it looks like it is.
No, it shouldn't be. They've got enough players where Kelly Oubre shouldn't define whether they win or lose in a in-season tournament.
They look great with him. They look like a cacada without him. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he made more of a difference to this team right now than we realize.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not believing that. But this, I can't get past this. Embiid's not in great shape thing. All right, let me go on to Maxey. Well, speaking of Kelly Oubre, let me just, since you brought him up, why has this story gone cold? There used to be a time in the city where you find out stuff. There's reporters out there. Why has this story gone cold? And why are fans going, well, it was no big deal? It was a big deal because we don't have the right story yet. All right, he made up some kind of a police report that did not exist. How is that not a continuing story? How is nobody figuring out what this story was? And people go, oh, you're making too much of it. You know why I'm making too much of it in fans' eyes? Because Kelly Oubre is a good player. If that was James Harden who made up a story like that, or if it was somebody that was on the fans' crap list, I guarantee that more fans would be upset by it. But because Oubre played well in the early season, it's like, oh, hands off. Oh, Kelly. What happened? What happened? Obviously, what he said happened did not happen. It is up to a reporter to find out what the hell happened. You got sources. You got people. You can talk to people. All right. That's it. That's my Kelly Oubre thing. Now, mainly move on to Maxey. All right. Maxey's defense has been suspect this year, and they are making it a point to attack him on defense. Now, it's improved. He wasn't the lackluster defensive player that he was when he came into the league. He's worked hard to improve that. But they are still really working him to defend on the other end. They are targeting him. They are hunting him down for defensive assignments. They're ganging him on offense. He's struggling with the pick and roll. He's also they're forcing him to go left. And I'm going, okay, all right, dude, you're supposed to be a burgeoning star player. And I understand how he whips around with the dribble on the right, but you also have to go left, bro. They're forcing him to go left, and it's kind of messing up his whole mindset. So he's got to overcome
Derek Zoolander can go left,
so
can Maxey, Mike.
This is a Maxey Embiid team. And right now, they've only lost 2 games. So I don't want to sound – they're going to win a lot of games. But I can't believe they're not in this play-in tournament. I really can't believe it. It's stunning to me. I thought, sure, they would at least advance to the second round of this thing. All right, that's my Sixer stuff for today. All righty. It is time now for our fearless picks of the week in the week of football. I already gave you an earlier one. That game has just kicked off, all right? So as we're doing this podcast, and Nebraska is a favorite against Iowa. Nebraska stinks. Now they're trying to get bowl eligible. They need this game to win 6 to get bowl eligible. Iowa doesn't really need the game, but they have to keep their national rankings so they get a better bowl game. So the Nebraska being a 3-point favorite is odd. It caught my eye, and therefore I am backing Matt Rule and the Cornhuskers. All right, so let's see what else we have here. Hold on a second. I've got my pause. I have to go get my ticket that I wrote down on a notepad as a Post-it. Hold on.
Go ahead. Dolphins Jets today, 3:00. Dolphins are 9.5. I would actually go Dolphins there. That's an extra pick I'll have today.
All right. By the way, this is what you get on these video podcasts. Where you get you get the live action. And by the way, have you noticed the backdrop now that we have? The big Bet Rivers backdrop is behind us right now. It makes the podcast look kind of official, doesn't it?
It's a nice look.
I think it looks good.
It's
Of course,
nice.
you got the Mike Missanelli podcast hat right here.
I like it.
Thanks for wearing yours today, by the way. Okay, here we
You
go.
don't see me though.
I am going. I'm going to take another. I'm going to take another. This to me is too easy, and I feel bad for putting this out there. But Memphis minus 13.5 against Temple. It's like it's a sin. I think that Temple is a 13.5 point underdog, and Memphis will cover. It's such an easy thing to do. There's no creativity in that pick at all, but I'm going to take that as my second college pick in addition with Nebraska. Now let me move on to pros. I get a game that nobody would think of picking, but I'm taking the Patriots minus 3.5. Playing the Giants, right? Patriots playing the Giants? Well, see, I get nothing from my producer. I think I get nothing. I'm asking you a question. It's like into the
My
wind.
attention was drawn away by my daughter. Live podcast. I apologize. No, you're great. That's a slop game.
I know it's
the Patriots are terrible,
but it's a value.
They've lost control. No one even knows who the quarterback's going to be.
It doesn't matter. The fact that the Patriots are a favorite in the game is telling me all I need to know. They're playing at the Giants. They're a favorite at the Giants. Tommy DeVito is not going to have another good game. I think the Patriots. This is a game the Patriots win.
Hold on. Tommy DeVito lives with his mother, who cooks some chicken cutlets on game day.
Yeah,
I love him already.
I know. And he does this. If you notice the celebration,
he goes, oh
yeah, he gives the hands together, the emoji. Anyway, I'm going to take the Patriots minus 3.5 at the Giants, and I'm going to go for a bounce back week with the Chiefs. They are minus 9 in this game. And I like that. I think they're going to roll. They were embarrassed a little bit last week. I think they'll get it together after losing in heartbreaking fashion. When you lose in heartbreaking fashion, it makes you want to come back with a vengeance the next week. So I will take the Chiefs minus 9.5, and I will take the Giants the Patriots over the Giants minus 3.5. All right. It's the Raiders. Chiefs are at the Raiders, by the way, who stink.
Chiefs are at the Raiders. Yeah.
I
have a couple games. There's two games I like. I like the Jaguars minus 1.5 at the Texans. I know everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, and the Texans are actually hanging around, and they're a pretty good team considering how bad we all thought they would be beginning of the year. I don't think they're ready for this game. I think the Jags need it. I think they're more experienced. They got a better coach right now. I'm going to take the Jags minus 1.5 at Houston. Another road favorite for you, the Saints. Derek Carr is back. The Falcons don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Don't know who their running back's going to be. Saints need the game to win that crap division. Again, it's only 1.5. Give me the Saints. And if you're playing a game today, there's one NFL game. Look, I have a close friend who's a Jets fan, and I know Jets fans are compared to Eagles fans a lot. It must be absolutely friggin' miserable to be a New York Jets fan right now. They are so hard to watch. And they're starting some guy named Tim Boyle at quarterback today. The Miami Dolphins are given 9.5. I don't know how the Jets are going to score. Miami, like the Cowboys, are one of those teams that is really good at beating up on bad teams. I think Miami takes them out to the woodshed today. They're giving 9.5 on the road. Jags, Saints, Dolphins, 3 road
pick
favorites.
The Saints more than any team you ever picked, first of all. Second of all, that Jacksonville line is a Texans line. Jacksonville should be so much better than the Texans, and yet it's 1.5. Dude, you're not learning the Missanelli lesson. You don't look at lines. You do not look at lines. You go with your so-called football expertise. None of us have football expertise. None of us do. You think you do, and you pick the teams that you think are better. You got to look at the lines.
I'll remind you, the last time we had this argument, we were against each other on a game. It was the Raiders and the Giants.
You're going to bring up one
Raiders,
game?
The Giants. It was 34-0 Raiders at halftime.
System. I'm not part of the system. I am the system, as James Harden would say.
when you and I are at odds, your record against me is not good.
Yeah,
I will say this: when we
first of
do
all,
agree on a game, we're
that's a
100%.
ridiculous statement that you put out there in court without proof, and I would destroy it on cross-examination. That'll wrap up this particular Black Friday podcast. If you're out there shopping, do people still go out shopping? Like the annoyance of fighting crowds and stuff when you can do it so easily online. I don't know, but if you're doing that, be safe out there and no road rage. All right, because this is where road rage happens. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanksgiving weekend is great because it starts on Wednesday and goes all the way through the weekend where you do nothing but loaf around. And I just for the record, I gave my dog some turkey yesterday. I have never. Now she's 8. I have never witnessed or heard or smelled her passing gas ever. And yesterday, she went in front of the I had the fireplace going, and I'm watching TV, and she went in front of the fire, and I heard, and I was astonished. It never happened. Shiba Inos are the cleanest dogs ever. I've never heard that from my dog. And she looked back at me like with a little embarrassed face, like that, like she was a human being.
That's great.
Anyway, that's our closing note here on the Mike Missanelli
Shima
podcast.
the Shiba.
Have a great rest of the day. Yeah, Shima the Shiba. If you're thinking of a nice little present for the kids, like a stocking stuffer, the Shima the Shiba, The Adventures of Shima the Shiba. It's a children's book that I wrote. I'll be reading to a class next week, in fact. You can email me, mike@mikemiss.com, and I'll let you know how you can get it, or you can just go on Amazon.com and you can get it. So there you go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe out there. Thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends and neighbors to subscribe, and the Mike Miss podcast will come to your inbox automatically. For Darren, Mike, see ya.
Happy Thanksgiving. See ya.